the first time humanity was invited to speak. At the far end of the giant hall, a small group of humans sat quietly. They wore simple uniforms, neat and clean, but compared to the shining armor and expensive robes around them, they looked poor. Many aliens whispered and laughed as they looked at the humans. One large alien with 6 eyes said in a deep voice, "Is this the species that wants to join our council? How cute." Captain Rhea Morgan sat straight, her face calm. She was young but brave. Her short black hair was tied tightly and her sharp brown eyes watched everything. She knew what everyone thought of humans. Weak, slow, behind in technology. A joke. The council speaker, a tall creature with a golden crown of light on its head, tapped its staff. "Let the humans speak." Rhea stood. The room grew quiet, but not with respect, with curiosity. What would a backward species say here? She took a deep breath and began. "We come from Earth. We may be young in this galaxy, but we offer peace, trade, friendship. We believe that the strength of a civilization is not only in its weapons, but in its heart." A ripple of laughter moved through the room. Someone shouted, "Maybe Earth should send poets instead of leaders." Rhea kept her calm. "You laugh at us. That is fine. But remember, every great power started small." More laughter. Some council members turned their backs. Others simply ignored her. As the meeting continued, Rhea sat down without showing her anger. Inside, she was burning. She looked at the small screen on her wrist. A message blinked again. Signal detected. Source: unknown. Language: ancient Earth standard. She had seen this message before, but no one believed it mattered. Earth's own scientists thought it was a glitch, but something about the signal felt different. It wasn't a call for help. It wasn't a message of peace. It was a code, a military one. That night, as most delegates returned to their luxury ships, Rhea sat alone in her small cabin on the Earth vessel Silver Dawn. She stared at the signal data again. It came from the edge of known space, near a dead zone where no stars lived, no planets spun, and no life was found. She called her second-in-command, Lieutenant Adil Khan. "This signal, it's real, and it's old. Older than our first space stations. Maybe even older than Earth's recorded history." Adil raised an eyebrow. "But how is that possible? Humans weren't in space back then." Rhea shook her head slowly. "Maybe we were, and maybe we forgot." They looked at each other in silence. The idea was crazy, but space was full of secrets, and humans had only just begun to explore it. What if there was something out there that could change everything? She made a decision. "We leave tonight, quietly, plot a course toward the signal source. No word to Earth, no message to the Council." Adil frowned. "This could be dangerous." Rhea nodded. "Good. That means we're finally doing something important." As the Silver Dawn broke away from the Council's main station, none of the other ships noticed. They were too busy celebrating their own importance. To them, Earth was a small thing barely worth watching. But far, far away in the silent part of the galaxy, something ancient stirred. A system of sensors long buried in dust blinked to life. A machine woke after sleeping for ages. Inside a hidden chamber, a voice said in perfect Earth English, "Command. Protocol recognized. Warship status, idle. Awaiting orders." Back on the Silver Dawn, Adil looked at the screen. "Captain, it just answered us." Rhea stood up slowly. Her heart beat faster. "Then let's go meet our forgotten past." They didn't know what they would find. A ship, a base, a graveyard. But one thing was certain. This signal didn't belong in the past. It belonged to a time before the galaxy ever heard of Earth. And now, the galaxy was about to remember. For too long they laughed at humanity. They would soon learn that some laughs come before screams. The Silver Dawn moved quietly through the dark part of space. The stars grew fewer and the light around the ship faded. No planets, no stations, nothing, just blackness, silent and cold. Captain Rhea Morgan stood on the bridge, staring at the empty screen. The signal was still strong, repeating the same pattern over and over. It called to something old, something forgotten. Lieutenant Adil spoke, his voice quiet. "We're getting close, Captain. The signal is coming from inside the nebula." The nebula ahead looked like a giant cloud of dust and shadow. It blocked light and confused sensors. No one ever went inside. There was no reason to. Until now. As they entered the cloud, the ship lights flickered. The crew looked around nervously. Gravity shifted for a second. Something was wrong. "Shields up," Rhea said calmly. "Slow speed, scan everything." The fog outside made it hard to see. The ship's scanners picked up strange shapes, big, sharp, and made of metal. But they weren't moving. Wreckage? Asteroids? Then, the ship stopped. Not because the engines failed, but because something grabbed it. Adil checked the controls. "We're caught in a magnetic field, very strong. I don't know how long we can hold position." Suddenly a light appeared. Ahead. Faint at first, then stronger. It wasn't natural, it was a landing beacon. Old but human-made. Rhea gave the order. "Prepare the shuttle, I'm going down." Adil stared at her. "Captain, that's insane. We don't know what's down there." "We came for answers," she replied. "I'm not turning back now." The shuttle dropped slowly through the thick fog. After a few minutes they saw it. A massive shape hidden in the cloud. It was a ship. No, it was bigger than any ship they had ever seen. It looked like a city in space. Dark metal stretched for miles, covered in dust and scars. The ship had no lights, no movement, but it was whole. Perfect. Waiting. They landed on a wide platform. The metal under their feet was cold and silent. No wind, no sound, just stillness. The airlock door was sealed. Adil tried to open it manually. Nothing. Then Rhea placed her hand on a small square near the door. It lit up red, scanned her, palm, then turned green. The door opened. Inside, old lights blinked on, soft yellow. The hallway was huge, built for humans, but much older in design. Everything looked like Earth technology, but from a different age. "Still no life, signs," Adil whispered. They moved deeper into the ship. On every wall there were symbols, Earth writing, but ancient. One word kept showing up. Dominion. They reached the command center. It looked like the bridge of a ship, but bigger. In the center was a black chair, the captain's seat. Screens lined the walls. Dead. Silent. Then a voice spoke. "Command recognized. Welcome, Commander." Rhea froze. The voice was deep, calm, and very human. Adil looked around. "Who said that?" Lights came on around the room. Screens lit up with old star maps, Earth logos, and a ship name, HSS Archangel. The voice spoke again. "Warship status idle, crew in stasis, awaiting orders." Rhea stepped forward. "This is Captain Rhea Morgan of the Earthship Silver." "Dawn. Who are you?" The voice answered. "This is Central Command AI of the Archangel. You are human. DNA confirmed. Command access granted." Adil whispered. "Captain, this ship is listening to you." They looked at the old screens. The ship had thousands of rooms. Most of them were locked. But one section showed strange data. Rhea pointed. "Stasis pods, still active." Adil's eyes widened. "You're saying there are people still alive on this ship?" "Yes," she said quietly. "Sleeping. For how long I don't know." She touched the controls. The screen zoomed in. One pod blinked green, ready for wake-up. The AI spoke again. "Warning, revival may lead to mission continuation. War protocols may activate." Rhea looked at Adil. "What war?" The AI answered. "The Dominion War. Against the Galactic Union." Adil's mouth dropped open. The same union that now laughs at us? Rhea felt her heart beat faster. We didn't come from nothing. We came from something big, something powerful. And they buried it. She stared at the screen. Her finger hovered over the command button to wake the first crew member. This could change everything, Adil said. Yes, Rhea replied. And the galaxy isn't ready. She pressed the button. Far below, deep inside the Archangel, a pod hissed. Steam escaped. Lights turned green. And someone, very old, opened his eyes for the first time in thousands of years. His first word was, status? The past had returned, and it was not pleased. The man inside the stasis pod opened his eyes slowly. His skin was pale, his muscles thin from sleep, but his eyes were sharp. They glowed slightly, not with light, but with something deeper. Power, memory, rage. Captain Rhea Morgan stepped forward carefully. I'm Captain Rhea Morgan from Earth. What's your name? The man looked around. He studied her uniform. The walls. The control panels. Then he spoke, his voice dry but strong. Commander Elias Vire, Earth Dominion, 2nd Fleet. Adil blinked. Dominion? That's the name on this ship. Vire's eyes locked on him. This is the warship Archangel. Why is it awake? Did the enemy return? Rhea took a breath. No. At least, not that we know of. You've been asleep for a long time. Vire frowned. How long? Rhea showed him the screen. More than 12,000 years. The silence that followed felt heavy. Vire stepped out of the pod. His legs shook, but he stood tall. 12,000 years. Then Earth survived? Rhea nodded slowly. Earth still stands, but we didn't know anything about you. Or this ship. Our history has no record of a dominion, no record of any war in the stars. Vire's face hardened. Of course not. They erased us. He walked to a panel and placed his hand on it. The ship responded to him immediately. Screens lit up with old symbols, mission logs, weapon statuses. One large screen showed an ancient map of the galaxy. Most areas were marked red. War zones. Adil spoke. Carefully. What happened? Who were you fighting? Vire didn't answer right away. He watched the screen, then said, The Galactic Union. Back then they feared us. Earth grew fast. Too fast. We built ships, fleets, armies. We reached deep into the stars. They said we were dangerous, so they united and tried to wipe us out. Rhea's voice was quiet. But they failed. Vire looked at her. Not at first. They destroyed many of us, but we fought back, hard. When we knew we couldn't win, we hit our strongest ships. We put commanders like me into stasis. We left. Messages, warnings, waiting for the day Earth returned to the stars. He pointed to her. You are that day. The room felt colder, Adil whispered. The Galactic Council. They never said a word about this. Of course not, Vire replied. They don't want you to know. They want Earth to remain weak, silent, a joke. But they forgot one thing. Rhea asked. What? He smiled. We don't stay quiet forever. A loud beep echoed through the ship. Lights flashed red for a second, then returned to normal. A new voice came through the comm system. Unknown energy detected. 2 small alien ships approaching. Scanning. Target locked. Rhea rushed to the controls. Show me. Outside, beyond the fog of the nebula, 2 alien scout ships floated closer. They weren't big, but they were armed. The ship had clearly awakened something. And someone had noticed. Adil checked the readings. They're sending a signal. They're ordering us to shut down all systems and prepare to be boarded. Rhea hesitated. What do we do? Veyer's expression didn't change. Let them come. Rhea turned sharply. You want to fight them? Weyer walked to the center of the command deck and sat in the captain's chair like he had never left it. They came here. They pointed weapons at a Dominion warship, that's enough. He gave a voice command. Activate defense systems, lock railguns, prepare missile banks. The ship responded instantly. Huge parts of the Archangel came alive. Weapon ports opened. Turrets moved into position. Power flowed through circuits not used in thousands of years. The alien ships noticed the change. One turned back, trying to run. Too late. A flash of light. Then silence. The screen showed one, ship torn in half. The second was hit seconds later, disappearing in fire and dust. Rhea stood frozen. They're gone. Weyer nodded. Good. This ship is still strong. Adil whispered. They'll send more. The council will know we destroyed their scouts. Rhea looked at Weyer. What happens now? He stood up slowly. Now we wake the others. She stepped in front of him. No, we're not here to start another war. Weyer studied her. You want peace, I understand. But peace is only possible when you have the power to demand it. He walked past her toward the stasis bay. You found me. That means you have already chosen. Rhea didn't stop him, she wasn't sure she could. Back on the Silver Dawn, messages from Earth came in, confused reports, warnings, questions. Adil read the latest one aloud. Earth Command wants to know, what did we find? Rhea looked out. The window toward the stars. The Archangel floated in the mist, glowing faintly, a ghost from a time when humanity ruled the stars. She answered softly, we found our history, and it's alive. And far above, in the wide galaxy full of proud alien empires none of them knew, the sleeping giant had just opened one eye. The stasis chambers opened one by one. Cold gas hissed from the ancient pods as the long-forgotten crew of the Archangel began to wake. Captain Rhea Morgan stood beside Elias Weyer and watched as men and women slowly stepped out. Their bodies were thin, their skin pale, but their eyes burned with the fire of warriors. Soldiers, Dominion soldiers. How many? She asked quietly. Weyer checked the panel. 317, all loyal, all trained, all ready. Rhea didn't like how he said that word, ready. Lieutenant Adil stood at her side, whispering, we're not ready for what's coming, are we? No, Rhea said softly. No one is. In the corner of the command center, Dominion engineers began working fast. They moved like a machine, checking weapons, restarting old systems, uploading battle protocols. One young engineer, barely more than a boy, stared at Rhea curiously. Is Earth free again? He asked. Rhea didn't know how to answer. Weyer stepped forward. Earth is standing, but it doesn't know the truth. They don't remember us. The boy's face turned hard. Then we'll remind them. Adil's eyes narrowed. Remind them how? With war? Weyer ignored him. This ship was made for one purpose, to protect Earth and defeat her enemies. That mission never ended, and now it begins again. He turned to his crew. Start the power core. Full charge. Bring shields online. Wake the second AI. One of the soldiers hesitated. Sir, the second AI is the battle protocol. I know, Weyer said. Wake it. The lights in the ship flickered. A deeper hum filled the air. The ship began to feel alive. And then a new voice filled. The command center, colder, faster, sharper than the first. Battle AI online. Target list empty. Awaiting war orders. Rhea stepped forward quickly. Hold on. You're bringing this ship online for a war that doesn't exist anymore. Weyer looked at her calmly. It never ended. The Galactic Union is still in power, still hiding the truth, still watching Earth like a child. Rhea shook her head. They may be arrogant, but they're not enemies. We don't even know if they remember you. Vire smiled slightly. Then we'll remind them. Suddenly, a new alert appeared on the main screen. Adil read it out loud. A fleet, small scout fleet, 10 ships, Union class. They're on the edge of the nebula. Ria's heart jumped. They're responding to the destroyed scouts. Vire turned to the battle AI. Scan their weapons. Scans complete, weak shielding, medium firepower. No threat to this vessel. Ria said quickly, then don't fire. Let them send a message back. Let's talk. Vire paused, then nodded. Fine, let's talk. The Union fleet sent a message. A proud-looking alien leader appeared on the screen. He had silver skin and glowing red eyes. He stared at Ria, confused. You are human. How did you find this place? Before Ria could answer, Vire stepped in front of the camera. I am Commander Elias Vire of the Dominion. You remember us now? The alien's eyes widened. That can't be. You're extinct. Vire's voice was cold. No. We were asleep. Now we are awake. The alien's face became hard. Stand down. That ship is banned by galactic law. It must be turned over to the Council immediately. Vire smiled. Try to take it. The alien cut the transmission. Adil looked worried. They're powering weapons. Vire didn't hesitate. Battle AI, engage. The lights in the room turned red. Shields snapped up. Cannons moved like hunting animals. Missiles loaded. Turrets rotated toward targets. Ria shouted, Wait! But it was too late. The Archangel fired only once. A massive beam of white energy shot forward like a god's hammer. It didn't hit one ship. It cut through 4 of them at once. The rest scattered, running in every direction. 2 crashed into each other. 1 turned and vanished into warp space. The battle lasted only 19 seconds. When the smoke cleared, there was only silence. Vire turned to Ria. Now they remember. Ria stood frozen. You just made Earth a target. Vire shook his head. No, I made Earth powerful again, Adil whispered. The whole galaxy will be coming now. Ria stared at the stars on the screen. Then we better prepare Earth, because war is coming. Back on the Silver Dawn, messages from Earth were now full of panic. The news of the destroyed Union ships had already spread, but Earth Command didn't know the full story yet. They didn't know the Archangel was real. They didn't know humans once ruled the stars. They didn't know the galaxy had lied. And now, they were about to find out. Because the last war never ended. It just slept. And humanity was the one who woke it. Back on Earth, everything changed in one day. The message from the Silver Dawn had reached Earth Command. They now knew about the ancient warship hidden in the nebula. They knew the name Dominion. They knew about Elias Vire and the destruction of the Union scout fleet. But they didn't understand it, they didn't believe it, some said it was fake. Others said the Silver Dawn had found an old alien ship and hacked it. One general even called it a rogue action. But not everyone was blind. High Admiral Sloan of Earth's Defense Council stood at the top of the Tower of Unity, staring at the stars through a glass wall. Behind her, her advisors argued, we should deny it publicly. No, we should reach out to the Union, show we didn't authorize the attack. What if this Dominion ship decides to turn on us next? Sloan finally turned. Enough. The room went silent. She pointed at the screen showing the Archangel, floating in the fog like a sleeping dragon. That ship is not alien. It's ours. It responds to our DNA. It speaks our language. It was built by humans, thousands of years ago. One of the young commanders asked, but why don't we remember? Sloan looked grim. Because someone didn't want us to. She ordered direct contact with Captain Rhea Morgan, immediately. Back in deep space, the Archangel moved slowly through the nebula, heading away from the wreckage of the Union fleet. The crew worked nonstop. Systems were powering up. Defense grids were being repaired. The ship was almost fully awake. Captain Rhea Morgan sat in the ready room with Lieutenant Adil. Neither of them had slept. "They're going to come, you know," Adil said. "The Union, Earth, everyone." Rhea rubbed her forehead. "I know." "You think Vire plans to start a full war?" Rhea was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I think Vire never stopped fighting. He still lives in the past, and now he's trying to drag the whole galaxy back into it." Adil looked around at the ancient walls. "I still can't believe this thing is real. It's more than a ship. It's a weapon, a symbol, and it listens to him." Just then, a voice came over the comms. "Captain Morgan, incoming priority message." "Earth Command." Rhea stood quickly. "Patch it through." High Admiral Sloane's face appeared on the screen. She looked tired but sharp. "Captain Morgan, this is not an official greeting. This is a warning." Rhea straightened. "Understood, Admiral. What kind of warning?" Sloane's voice was cold. "You're sitting on top of a bomb, and that man, Elias Vire, is lighting the fuse. You need to bring him in. Or shut that ship down." "I don't have that kind of control," Rhea said. "Then get it," Sloane replied. "Because the Union is moving. Fast. They're pulling together a response fleet, and they're blaming Earth for what happened." Adil asked, "How big is this fleet?" Sloane looked directly at him. "Over 100 ships, and that's just the beginning." Rhea's stomach dropped. "We don't stand a chance against that." "You don't," Sloane agreed. "But the Archangel might. That's the problem. You're holding the most powerful warship ever built, and it belongs to a ghost from history, one we don't understand, one we didn't choose," Rhea said quietly. "So what are you ordering us to do?" Sloane was silent for a moment, then she said, "Find out who Vire really is, what his true mission was, and if you can't control him, stop him." The message ended. Adil looked at her. "So, what now?" Rhea didn't answer. She just turned and walked straight toward the main command deck. Elias Vire stood at the center of the Archangel, watching his people work. The ship glowed with life now. Lights hummed softly. The floor vibrated with power. When he saw Rhea approach, he nodded. "You've seen the message from Earth." She nodded back. "Yes, they want me to stop you." He smiled. "Of course they do. They're afraid." She looked around. This ship could destroy planets. It could rewrite history. Maybe they should be afraid. Vire's face turned serious. "They buried the truth. They let the galaxy turn us into a joke. They let Earth be ruled, shamed, watched. Now they're worried because someone still remembers the fire in our blood." Rhea stepped closer. "You're right about one thing. The galaxy fears us, and if you keep pushing, they'll unite against us again." He stared at her. "Let them come?" Rhea sighed. "And if they burn Earth down first?" That made Vire pause. She pointed at him. "If you want to save Earth, protect it. Don't use it as bait." He didn't answer. Just then, the battle AI spoke. "Alert. Incoming. Signal. Massive fleet exiting warp space. Union military signatures confirmed." Rhea and Vire both looked at the screen. A swarm of ships had just arrived at the edge of the nebula. Adil's voice came through the intercom. "Captain, it's starting." Rhea looked out the window. She could see lights moving in the dark, ships gathering like predators circling prey. The past had returned, and now the future waited to see who would survive it. The nebula lit up with hundreds of blinking lights. The Union fleet had arrived. On board the Archangel, the ancient warship of Earth's forgotten empire. Alarms buzzed softly as red lines traced across the main screen, marking each enemy ship. Rhea Morgan stood beside Elias Vire. Her stomach twisted with tension. 127 ships, said Lieutenant Adil, reading the scans. 5 carriers, 30 cruisers. The rest are gunships in support. They're surrounding the nebula. Vire was calm. Too calm. He looked at the screen like it was a game board. "They're scared," he said. "That's why they came in numbers." They're angry, Rhea replied, and they think Earth sent us. Fire turned to her. Good. Let them think Earth is strong again. Rhea shook her head. This is not strength. It's suicide. That many ships can overwhelm even this one. Fire's eyes flashed. No, Captain Morgan. This ship was made to fight entire fleets. We are not outnumbered. They are outgunned. The battle AI spoke. Union fleet is broadcasting. Message incoming. Put it on screen, Rhea said. The face of the same silver-skinned Union commander appeared, the one they'd spoken to before. This time, he looked angry, not surprised. You had a chance to surrender that ship. Now, you face judgment. Surrender or be destroyed. Rhea stepped forward before Vire could speak. We're not your enemies. We didn't come looking for war. The alien's voice was sharp. That ship was banned by every major galactic treaty. It is a weapon of mass destruction. It must be dismantled. Vire spoke now, stepping beside her. This ship was never yours to judge. You feared what humans could become, so you buried us. You erased our history. The alien narrowed his eyes. We brought peace and we'll keep it, and even if it means wiping you out again. The message ended. Adil looked at Rhea. That didn't go well. Rhea's jaw clenched. They're going to attack. The AI confirmed it. Union fleet charging weapons, targeting systems locked on. Countdown to first strike, 60 seconds. Rhea turned to Vire. We need to run, hide, or open a channel and talk again. This isn't the way. But Vire just gave orders. Raise shields. Prepare all weapons. Charge the particle lance. Arm the halo array. The crew moved instantly. Dominion soldiers, loyal, trained, ready to fight without question. Adil looked at Rhea. He's not going to stop. You have to do something. Rhea hesitated. Then she moved. She stepped directly in front of Vire. Stand down, Commander. That's an order. Vire's face didn't move. You're not my superior. No, she said. But I'm still human. And so are you. And I know one thing. If we fire first, there's no going back. The ship's lights dimmed slightly as energy shifted into weapons. The countdown dropped to 30 seconds. Vire looked at her, and for the first time his voice softened. Captain Morgan, we gave everything for Earth, and Earth forgot us. Don't ask me to stand down now, not when we're finally remembered. You're remembered now, she said gently. But if you start a war, you won't be remembered as heroes. You'll be remembered as monsters. Vire didn't speak. Then, at the final moment, a new signal came in. From Earth. The voice of Admiral Sloan echoed through the bridge. This is High Admiral Sloan of Earth Command. To all Union ships, stand down. That vessel is under Earth protection. Any attack on it will be seen as an attack on Earth itself. The crew froze. Even Vire looked shocked. The Union fleet hesitated. Adil shouted, They've paused the countdown. Rhea rushed to the comms. Admiral Sloan, what are you doing? Sloan's voice came clearly. I'm finishing what your crew started. If the galaxy wants to blame Earth for this ship, then let them. But they will also learn what it means to challenge us. Rhea stared at the screen. Earth was backing them. Not fully, not with weapons, but with words, enough to make the Union stop and think. The Union commander appeared again, fuming. You threaten the peace? Sloan replied. You hid. The truth. Now we'll uncover it. Fire if you must, but know this. The age of fear is over. Silence. Then one by one, Union ships began to turn. Some left, some stayed watching, but none fired. The Archangel remained untouched. The war, for now, was avoided. Rhea sank into a chair, exhausted. Vire stood still. Then slowly he turned off the weapon systems. For now, he said quietly. But this is only the beginning. Rhea nodded. Maybe. But it will be our beginning. Not theirs. She looked out at the stars. The Union couldn't hide the truth anymore. Earth had spoken and the galaxy had listened, you said. The stars looked different now. They weren't just cold lights in the sky, that they were eyes. Watching. Waiting. Some full of fear. Others full of anger. And some filled with hope. The Archangel floated silently at the edge of the nebula. Its massive frame no longer hid in shadows. It stood in open space, facing a galaxy that had tried to erase it. Captain Rhea Morgan walked slowly through the corridors. The walls, once quiet, now pulsed with life. The ancient ship wasn't just alive, it was awake, and it remembered everything. Elias Vire stood alone in the observation deck, looking out at the emptiness. "You did it," Rhea said quietly, stepping beside him. He didn't look at her. "No, we did it." "Earth stood up," she said. "But only because you forced them to choose." Fire finally turned. His face was older now, not from age, but from memory. "I didn't want war," he said. "I wanted truth. I wanted them to know what we gave, what we lost." Rhea nodded. "Now they know. But the galaxy won't forget this. The Union pulled back, but only for now. Next time it may be fire, not words. Then we'll be ready," Fire said simply. Adil walked in, holding a small device. "Broadcast complete. The full data logs from the Archangel, history, battles, everything, sent to Earth Command, and to the public networks." Vire smiled slightly. "Good. Let them learn the truth for themselves." Adil looked nervous. "Are you sure? Some of that history isn't kind. We did terrible things during the old wars." Rhea answered for him. "People need truth, not perfect stories. If humanity is going to earn its place in the galaxy again, it has to start by knowing who it really is." They stood in silence for a moment. Then the ship's AI spoke. "Incoming message. Earth Command. High Admiral Sloan." The screen lit up. Sloan looked tired but satisfied. "You've changed everything," she said. "The galaxy is split. Some see the Dominion as a threat. Others are asking questions about what else has been hidden, about what Earth used to be." Rhea stepped forward. "What happens now?" Sloan leaned in. "We rebuild, not just Earth, but our place in the stars. Carefully, slowly, openly." Adil asked, "And the Archangel?" Sloan looked directly at Vire. "It stays under Earth control, but it will not be dismantled. Not after what we saw." Vire raised an eyebrow. "Do you trust us now?" "No," Sloan said, "but I trust that the truth is out, and once it's out, the galaxy changes." The screen went dark. Rhea turned to Vire. "What will you do now?" He looked out again at the stars. This ship wasn't built just to destroy. It was built to defend, to protect humanity, no matter what came. That mission still matters. "You want to lead again?" she asked. He shook his head. "No, I want to guide. Quietly. No empire, no throne, just purpose." Rhea smiled. "Maybe that's enough." Suddenly the battle AI spoke again. New signal detected. Small vessel. Civilian class. Approaching. From the outer rim. Human origin. Broadcasting distress. Rhea leaned forward. "Put it through." A shaky voice filled the room. "This is transport vessel Hope Runner. Engines failing. Life support low. Please, if anyone's out there." Vire glanced at Rhea. "Permission to intercept?" She nodded. "Granted." The great ship turned. No weapons, no threats, just light. The Archangel moved toward the signal, a shadow from the past now carrying light into the future. As the crew prepared to help, Adil turned to Rhea. "You think they'll ever forgive us for waking this ship?" Rhea looked at the glowing walls. "Maybe not, but maybe. They'll thank us someday." "Why?" "Because the galaxy forgot who we were," she said quietly. "But now they'll never forget again." The camera pulled back. The Archangel, surrounded by starlight, moving with calm power through the dark ancient space. And above it all, one silent truth echoed across the stars. The galaxy laughed at humanity, until we remembered who we were, and now, it would never laugh again.